Hello, welcome back. This is Athonan here for the daily grind on DC Legends. Today is Heroic Challenge event for the second part of the monthly event Mind Over Matter to get General Sword shots. And this time around I'm going to cut to the chase and just go full ham with my heavy hitters. I'm also going to be splitting this video like last time. And as always, during the story parts, I'm not talking. So this is going to be somewhat easier. The very first notes are always easy. And hopefully I'm getting a legendary 3 sword before the end of the challenge. So I don't have his leader where he gets a death immunity, but I don't think that is going to be very helpful, if it helps any. Even though he gives great chance to his teammates, I don't see his sword working that well as a team leader. So my recommended upgrade path is going to be 4, 2, 3, 1. And I'm going to explain to you why once I get him to Legendary 4. The guys from We Are Legends kind of don't agree fully on what the order for General Sword is. But if you farm him and you're going to upgrade him way later, the order doesn't matter as much. So you can go 1, 2, 3, 4 and that's alright. See, the very first nodes are always very easy. In fact, you can get to node 4. Well, the fourth boss node you can get with just a gear 5 team. Doesn't matter the composition. Of course, if you have high legendary and high level characters, even if you are not that much geared, you can get by and advance even further because you have better skills available for your compositions. But the catch is that you have to have a deep roster in order to do that. So when in doubt, just use your gear 10 or gear 11 characters. Even if they don't have good synergy, they have a lot of survivability and sustain, which is something you want during heroic events. You want sustain and you want toons that are able to survive the nodes. I haven't fully geared Sod, but he has all his speed and HP gears. So he's missing a bit of critical chance and critical damage, but it doesn't make a very big difference. So, like I suspected, we are going to be facing Brainiac for the second part of the event. Of course, bringing blues versus a green is going to keep him from doing much damage. And the difficult part is always the last 3 nodes, so no problems here. I'm going to basically walk all over the place. And I can't stress enough to you, it's a node of life and death. But why would you want to make your life harder than it should be? I mean, yes, it's interesting for the guys that arrived late and have all the characters at high legendary rank, that they have the deep roster. It's cool. Yes, it's very fun to look for odd compositions for these events. But the only reason low level players, well, players that park their tunes at low level, the only reason they are able to do that well on PvP is because the points are skewed towards lower players, and this shouldn't be. This shouldn't be. That's bad game design. They should correct that. There have been many proposals over the past few months about how to fix PvP. And it's not the matchmaking anymore, because that used to be a problem when the matchmaker didn't include bot teams. But you shouldn't, I can't stress this enough, you shouldn't be punished for gearing up your characters, for trying to push the envelope. And yes, Brainiac is going to be the boss all the way. Alright, no story mode. One of the reasons I chose Star Sapphire is that she can mend when she gains, when anybody from the team gets buffs on their turn. Right now this isn't a challenge. I'm also going to do a bit of this event with the low level account I have, the newbie one, because my toon selection over there is reduced and they don't have high rank, so they rely entirely on their gear. And I'm really thinking about going all out and getting them to 10 and just get that over with. Because I'm surprised, I keep reading 2 years after launch, I keep reading complaints that gearing is difficult. It's expensive resource wise, but it's not difficult, not at all. And it's really just a problem for free players, because you have to choose. That's the game in a nutshell. You have to choose, do I want to have high rank characters or do I want to be competitive? And this game is an anomaly. It's quite literally the first game I have ever played that rewards players for sticking too low level. And it makes no goddamn sense. I'm not going to tire of repeating that. It makes no sense that you get better rewards overall, that your life is easier if you choose to stay low level and rank. It would be like, I don't know, if you played World of Warcraft and you decided to never ever do raids, and somehow you were able to keep scoring on the battlegrounds higher than guys that have the best gear. Would that make sense? No, it wouldn't make sense. And that's where we are here on DC Legends. They have to fix. They have to fix that PvP scoring. The matchmaking nowadays is very fair. It's sometimes I also see this complaint all the time that the game throws impossible teams at you. Well, if the game is throwing quote unquote impossible teams at you, that means you haven't geared well enough for your level. You are under geared if you're having trouble defeating the opponents in front of you. And another 16 shards, please. Yeah, this part is all laughs. And I ran out of energy, finally. So I'm going to check where I am on the map. So, node 13. 1, 2, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4 nodes. I'm halfway. So I'm going to buy my energy pack. I always do this. You don't have to do that. You can wait until you regenerate the energy. But I like to get this thing out of the way. First thing I do on the first day of the events is buy energy and try to finish the whole thing in one go. I'm also really sorry about last time. There was the second part of the run got corrupted somehow and I wasn't able to post it, so I only posted the first part and the last notes of the event. And last time I was practicing with several compositions that weren't optimal, just to show that you can advance even on low gears, or you can switch your strategy around. Of course, now that you can basically use the entire roster for every monthly event, coming up with a viable strategy is not as difficult as before. For example, this composition doesn't have doesn't have any theme behind it. It has no real synergy besides the fact that everybody can self-buff, and if they buff they get mens, so there's a bit of sustain there. For example, I can taunt with Superman and he gets mens, and I can self-buff with Soth and he gets mens, and I can do this, and she didn't get mens, but everybody gets mens. I should have brought a toon that put buffs on the whole team. Just to get some good mans going, like that. And this is why I'm going to take Soth 3 next. Because if you get a kill, you supposedly get a -1 cooldown on all his moves. So you will be able to cast his self-buff back to back and always have intelligence up on Soth. like this. So it's not optimal, but it works. So that's why I'm using it. And now I only need 100 shards for my legendary 3, and hopefully I will get it before the last node, because I have to test this. And also, why did I bring a lot of greens? Because most of the enemies are green, so I'm not at a disadvantage with affinity. Like, for example, here. Now this is something I want to test, since we are not doing enough damage to Brainiac. Okay, that's just my power girl, bringing a gear 8 to a gear 10 fight. That's a problem. Believe it or not, I have never geared my power girl. I only use her for the daily of using an XP agent and upgrading a gear, and slowly over time she's gotten to gear 8. Back when she was released, I wanted to get her to max gear, but I have never needed her. So some of you guys that are worried about getting Power Girl because she's overpowered, or some people say that she's overpowered, fear not, you can get by without Power Girl. Yes, she makes life easier at many levels, but she is not that much needed. You can live without her, just like you can live without Etrigan and many other tombs. That only matters, the meta tombs only matter if you are trying to go for a top 100 finish on PvP. Everywhere else it doesn't matter, every tomb is viable. Except perhaps Superboy. Perhaps. Some of us are waiting for him to rise. Even though I don't have him legendary, some are waiting for the chance to include Superboy on compositions. So if you're watching this and you think, oh, that looks super easy, that's why I don't gear up. Well, that's why I gear up my characters, so I don't have a hard time doing heroic challenges. Because you see, there are ways to make events challenging without making it impossible. I mean, like the Scarecrow event or the White Sinestro event that were limited both in time and the roster that you were able to take. Those included NPCs that did way too much damage, even for Gear 11 characters. They did way too more damage. That's artificial difficulty. But they could include teams, for example. I have wanted the developers to include like showcase teams that are level 80 and gear 11 for the players to face. Like, what do the developers use for the gameplay? How do they test? Like, of course, they should have a bit more HP to prevent one-shots. something like that, like these heroic challenges where the enemies get extra HP and you don't, so you have to bring some sort of sustain. That's one way to increase difficulty without it being artificial. Alright, I'm about to get my legendary tree. I think I think I'm almost done. Somehow I feel it. Like I'm nearing the end of this event. Is it my imagination, or does Power Girl doesn't get mans when she gets strength ups through her basic? Because I know she does. Yeah, I know she does when she self buffs. But I haven't seen her getting mans through her basic. Oh yeah, she can. Just bad rolls. Alright, that's all I wanted to know. Now, let's try to keep this gal up. And we are almost done. Almost done. I want to check out the map, but I also don't want to. I want it to be a surprise. But you know when you reach the later nodes, because the difficulty, or well, at least the power levels on the enemies spike out of control. I think the next to last is around 20k, and then the last node is 26k nowadays. 26,000 power for the enemy. This is just redundant on Superman because he self heals if you have an upgrade for him. She gets self heals, and Power Girl can also overheal herself. But a bit extra sustain never hurt anybody. We're going to try this here. I would like if they gave you challenges for this, like extra gold for finishing with a low powered team, but you had some way of actually depowering your own team, like say park it, even if you already have gear 11, that there were some way to limit your team to gear 9 or gear 7, but just full stacks of gear, none of that nonsense about 9.5 and 10.5, no, just flat 9, flat 10, flat 11. I really wish there was some way so we could try and compete. Maybe a time race. Like survival mode, go against the clock, only the boss nodes, and try to finish the whole thing as fast as you can and get an extra prize. That's the kind of stuff that this thing is severely lacking. things to do that are not grinding. I have started playing DC Unchained again, and DC Unchained has a lot of stuff to do while you wait for your dispatches to finish. And that's something. What's that? Oh, finally! He got to make a move. Whatever, he's dead. And he doesn't know it yet. Goodbye, Brainiac. So I think I already have, yes, I already have my legendary 3 sword, so I'm going to upgrade him mid-event. And if I'm not mistaken, yes, only 3 more nodes to go. So I'm going to cash on my energy too. My daily energy, just to make sure that I can do the whole event at once. I'm kind of nervous because this thing can explode on my face. Oh, it's only one gear missing. So now I'm going to take this one. You see, I went for his passive so he can miss, then I went 2 to extend the buff duration, and now cooldown -1 on all of sword abilities. And we go back to the hero challenge, and Lobo is coming up next, the main man. The man with the plan, he who thoroughly enjoys devouring your innards. I'm pretty sure there are teams that have it even easier than this. But this is the team I designed for this. Like, let's try going for sustain. Hopefully, yes, everybody is getting mans. Get mans, get mans. Yes, everybody is getting mans. So let's see how well Sword plays. Now he should be able to cycle through his skills as long as he kills guys with his number 3. Yes. And like this. This would be the cycle. So now I'm going to distract these guys so Soul can buff again. So it will go 2, 3, 1, 2, something like that. I have to use his basic again. But even as leader, he's not. There must be something wrong with Sot's lead, because he doesn't get to perform criticals as much. And I'm not talking round 1. I'm talking like this here. Well, that's one. But there's this perceived feeling that Sod doesn't get that many criticals in a row. Maybe I will have to watch this video again and count the times that he crits. Oh, legendary 4 Brainiac. This is going to be a 5 wave. So let's start getting sustain for everybody. Oh. Well, the floaty guys you have to kill right away. Make sure of that. Oh, so these guys have a lot of HP, so you have to be careful with them. So let's try this. The big guys, they usually taunt, and I was very lucky that they decided to do that. Oh, wow, ow. Man, I messed up. You have to be careful because this thing, it's really touchy with cooldowns. Better get rid of the dangerous guys first. Now I buff, because next wave is boss wave. So let's get rid of the floaty guys first and protect my little guys like this. Well, they hit fairly hard, but also Power Girl is severely undergeared for this. Oh, just like that. I want somebody to tell me that Sod doesn't do damage. And last node. This is it, boys. 25k, 2 rows, 2 reds, and I'm betting that the 2 reds are on the last wave. Now imagine if my whole team was gear 11, this thing will go even faster, like maybe in 20 minutes. Well, let's go for our heals. Everybody get mans. You get mans, she get mans, everybody gets mans. Oh my god, they have a ton of HP. Luckily my shields will protect me. Seriously. They have tons and tons of HP. I am even fearing for Power Girl. Oh, that was a lucky stun. 25% for free on the basic. 2 in a row. I'm gonna buy a lottery ticket. Jesus Christ. They have like... Alright, let's just bring Brainiac down a bit. Because he's probably going to hit hard in this node. Because it's the last one. No, he does pitiful damage. Alright, so we took care of the guy who can kill Star Sapphire. So let's just hope yes, they don't hit very hard, so that won't be a problem. So let's just get rid of Brainiac first, and then we take this home. 3 stars, boys. 3 stars. All that gold was well spent. Doesn't matter, you are toast, I tell you. Yes. And we're finished. This was Mind Over Matter. And I only need 110 more shards for Legendary 4. So I'm going to have to grind a bit. No more battles. For today, let's go back to the map. Back to the map. 3 stars. Everything was 3 stars. This is what you gear up for, boys. That's why I tell you, gear up, gear up. If you don't want to go to gear 11, well, why not leave it at then? Well, Brainiac didn't look very difficult at all. Well, anyways, that was the event for this month, General Zod. Now I have him Legendary 3 and I'm going to push for Legendary 4. There you go. Level 70. I have to farm a bit more tomorrow during the showcases, so I will have him full gear 11. And his skills almost maxed out. Oh, I can take this one now. So there you go, max everything. And his last upgrade, I'm going to take his basic just to see how it works. But that was it. He works pretty well. I'm really happy with my General Zod. He is going to be a real asset for new players, since they more likely than not don't have access to a high rank hired gun Deadshot. So this is a good replacement. In the meantime, has decent utility with that heal immunity and the high damage. It's not a very good leader because his leader skill is selfish, it only benefits him for the most part. But I'm very happy with my General Sword. Anyway, that's all for this month's event. We'll be seeing each other for December. Let's wait for those Christmas sales and let's hope that they are as fun as the past two Christmas. Remember the first time they gave a cyborg, a free legendary cyborg for free, a legendary 1 cyborg, and the last Christmas there was a fun sale where you had to exchange Speed Force and then Essence and some stuff, but you walk away from that sale with a lot of stuff that was very cool. I'm very happy with my sword, even if I don't sound that happy, but I'm very pleased with how he plays. You can see that some other guys found Donna Troy more useful for their game, their playstyle. I just left her at this. I haven't bothered. I did up her skills a bit. I was playing around with the stuff, but she doesn't fit my teams. And I kind of don't like the graphic for her. So, whatever. She's going to rot down here along with Etrigan. I'm much more worried about bringing my Aquaman up. In fact, I'm going to upgrade him to full gear 10 right now. Also, just because I can. And well, everybody has their own game plan. I can tell you how to play, I can tell you do this, do that, I can only guide you and comment to you what is working for me. Of course, everybody should look for their own strategies. Nevertheless, the meta at top 100 on PvP is very different. But let's see how this thing plays out. I'm going to go for a legendary 1 Brainiac. No more, no less. I have an excess of energy tunes. So I'm not really interested in Brainiac. But anyway, I thank you for your time. Subscribe, leave a comment on what you would like to see on the channel. And as you know, keep grinding on. See you next time.